This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Whether you're packing for a vacation or dressing for a wedding, Nordstrom has head-to-toe looks for wherever summer takes you. From swimwear and bold color to romantic florals and dresses that make an entrance, find the right style for every unforgettable moment. Shop new arrivals from brands you love like Farm Rio, Free People, Vince, Wait, and Stod. Plus free shipping and returns and styling help whenever you need it make it all so easy. Shop now in stores at Nordstrom.com or download the Nordstrom app.
Girl, winter is so last season. And now spring's got you looking at pictures of tank tops with hungry eyes. Your algorithm is feeding you cutoffs. You're thirsty for the sun on your shoulders. That perfect hang on the patio sundress. Those sandals you can wear all day and all night. And you've had enough of shopping from your couch. Done hoping it looks anything like the picture when you tear open that envelope? It's time for a little in-person spring treat. It's time for a trip to Ross. Work your magic.
Plan B is a backup birth control option that's there for you when things don't go according to plan. It specifically works after unprotected sex and before pregnancy occurs by temporarily delaying ovulation. Plan B is available nationwide at all major retailers and through delivery apps like DoorDash. No ID, prescription, or age requirement. It's the #1 OBGYN recommended brand of emergency contraception, and it won't impact your future fertility. That's freedom to be. Use as directed.
Hey there, and welcome to JJ Virgin's, that's me by the way, anti-diet show, where I'll show you how to get off the dieting for life merry-go-round with simple, actionable strategies you can easily incorporate into your daily life. You may not realize it, but dieting is only meant to be a short-term tool for healthy weight loss, gut health, detox, and reducing inflammation. The anti-diet journey is all about breaking the cycle of endless yo-yo dieting and helping you discover which foods love you as much as you love them. Join me and some of the top experts in the field as we focus on a new topic each episode to help you identify your hidden food intolerances and lower your sugar impact so that you feel better fast and for life. This is fun. I have an old, he's not that old, but an old friend coming on the show with me today. It was kind of one of those things where all of a sudden I went, why aren't you on the show? What the heck? And we were actually talking about a topic, mitochondria. And I was like, who could do a really good job on that? And all of a sudden I know my buddy, Dr. Dan Kalish, is the perfect guy for that. 'Cause Dan's one of those super geniuses that can take complicated stuff, break it on down, and make it easy to understand and actionable. So I met Dan, who is a chiropractor from Life College, and I met him years ago. I was working with Dr. Diana Schwartzbein in Santa Barbara, and we were putting on these workshops teaching people how to follow what's called the Schwartzbein principle. And it was really about adrenal exhaustion, insulin resistance, and how you needed to eat balanced meals and what you needed to do exercise-wise. And Dan came in, and he was our third trainer. So it was me, Dr. Diana Schwartzbein, and Dr. Dan Kalish. Super fun. And then we kind of lost touch for a while, and then we ran into each other at a conference. So I'm really excited to have him here with us. He is kind of a trippy dude here because not only is he a chiropractor, and he has this very cool Kalish Institute. He is teaching functional medicine practices mainly to MDs. He's taught over 1,000 practitioners worldwide, but just what you'd assume, just along with that, he also studied at a Zen monastery, because that's naturally a perfect progression. It's kind of so interesting. He's like this perfect blend of East meets West. So he spent 2 years in formal monastic training in Asia. He studied at a Zen monastery in Japan under Zen master Haradai Roshi, and then he lived in a forest monastery in Thailand, practicing mindfulness meditation techniques and transcribing Buddhist texts for Vipassana master Akan Buddhasiddha. I don't think I did that well at all. Anyway, you get the idea. Very cool, super blend, and just also an awesome human. So we are going to be talking about how to boost energy and burn fat, and how to really understand what the heck mitochondria is and why it matters and how to fix them. So before I dive into this fabulous interview, I want to share this fabulous review, my favorite podcast. So Spin Me and Eat Clean from the USA gave me a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts. It says, this podcast is amazing. JJ gets right to the point of the podcast, whereas some other podcasters take a good 5 to 10 minutes. She always gives valuable information in a short amount of time, which happens to be my commute time. So thank you, JJ. She's consistent about podcasting weekly, and I always look forward to sharing my day with such a positive spirit. Thank you. So here's the deal. That is exactly what we intended to do. Was we wanted to make a podcast that's a drive time podcast. And I actually now do it twice a week. And here's what's even cooler. What's even cooler was 3 years of my podcast disappeared. 2014, 15, 16. I was looking at my iTunes the other day. I'm like, wait a minute. I know that I've done more podcasts than this. And so if you are all caught up on podcasts, guess what? There's a whole bunch more waiting for you over there. So we've got a ton more around. So that was kind of fun. So anyway, be sure to jump in on those. And if you haven't left a review yet, I would love you, blow you up on my podcast and shout out. So go ahead, leave a review, subscribe while you're there, and share it with other pals who want to take responsibility for their health and need simple, actionable advice to do so. Here's a great favorite for you, and then I'll be back to dive into the podcast.
At first, I didn't think it was real. I woke up to this blinding light, and I was transported to another place. Pluto TV! Then I heard a voice.
Come with me if you want to live.
There were thousands of movies and shows, and they were all free. The truth is out. It's just so beautiful.
On Pluto TV, free streaming of Terminator 2, Fringe, Arrow, The 100, and The X-Files may cause excitement, loss of sleep, and sudden belief in extraterrestrials. No credit cards or alien encounters necessary. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Dr. Dan Kalish, welcome to the show. Super excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I know, man. It's been a long time. Like we go back, it's 15 years?
Before my son was born, that's 20. He's 20 now, if you can believe that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of knew you then before you kind of blew up and became the big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew you were a big thing, but not everybody else did yet.
Well, I was in my own mind for a long time, and now I've gotten somewhere.
And now you really are. Well, we're diving into kind of a complicated topic, and I just know that you'll be able to take the complicated topic and make it simple, easy to understand, and actionable, right?
That is my goal, and it's the thing I'm the most passionate about these days too. So I love to educate people about it.
Very good, because we got to start with the very beginning, because now there's all this talk about mitochondria. My bestie Dave Asprey wrote his whole book around mitochondria, and I'm like, yeah, but no one knows what they are. Like no one knows what is mitochondria. Why does it matter? So what? That's where we got to start.
Yeah, so I think the best way to think about it is the mitochondria are the controlling aspects of your metabolism, right? They're the area in the body, in the cells, where you're actually burning fat for fuel. And so if they're not working well, you're going to have a hard time burning fat, which means you're going to be tired because you're not able to get into a great source of energy, which is stored in fat tissue. And you're going to have weight issues because, fat's going to not be burned properly. So you're going to have to burn other substrates for energy. And so they play a role which is important to almost every single person I work with, because almost everybody wants to lose a few pounds and get more energy.
I know. I was just going to say, and you just have everybody's attention now.
and no one thinks about them, right? They're kind of like the unsung heroes, these mitochondria. No, they've been neglected for a lot of years.
They have been neglected, but we're going to fix this right now. So people aren't burning fat well. They're tired. What's happened to their mitochondria?
So the mitochondria it's called an organelle. It's a little chunk of stuff inside your cell. It's like an engine in a car, right? And the problem is that they're very delicate structures, and they're easily damaged by what we call oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is basically anything bad that can happen to you, right? Whether you are over-exercising or under-exercising.
I was just going to say all that aerobic exercise going out crazy on it can cause this.
And
Just
you know what?
FYI.
I was out on a bike ride last weekend, and there are so many 50-year-olds on bikes getting fatter and fatter every year. They're just pounding on the cardio
Isn't it
because
crazy? I
it
mean,
is.
I had this gym I worked out at in Palm Desert, and it was so funny because I would walk down this hallway. And on one side, and there was a hallway, and either side were windows into both sides of the gym. And one side of the gym was the weights, and the other side of the gym was all the cardio equipment. And this is in Palm Desert. So the average age in there was 50 plus. And most of the people were 60 and 70. And the people on the cardio side looked like hell. They were
Exactly.
overweight, they looked tired, crappy. The people on the other side, and by the way, same age. So it wasn't like you said, oh, they looked old over there because they were old. No, everyone was about the same age, but the people on the weight side looked amazing. And over the couple years I belonged there, the people on the cardio side, I'm like, are they not noticing that they're at the gym every day getting worse? Like, what is making them continue to go? Because the other side was looking better and better and better.
Yeah, and a lot of that centers around how we use oxygen, right? So and this is why I think this is the easiest way to understand how important your mitochondria are, is just take a deep breath in and hold it. And how long can you do that for? The reason why we breathe, right, is because we need to get oxygen to our mitochondria for energy production. So if you're breathing in constantly on a 26-mile run, you think how much oxygen you're cramming through your lungs and through your mitochondria, and that oxygen causes oxidative stress because as you're burning up the fuel, right, you're generating all these free radicals, which then damage the very mitochondria that you're trying to get to work better. So that's the kind of death knell of cardio. Now, I ride a bicycle every day. I'm not against cardio, but you got to figure out how to balance it with the strength training or you're in trouble.
Yes. And so oxidative stress from endurance training is one thing that can cause problems with your mitochondria. What else?
Yeah, the leading one and the saddest one, and the one that's escalating to levels that are incomprehensible, would be environmental toxin exposure. And that could be benzene, toluene, lead, mercury, DDT from the old days, whatever those 80 plus thousand chemicals are, the environment and the dozen or so toxic metals. Because any kind of environmental toxicant is going to get right into the cell, hit the mitochondria, and destroy it.
And I love that you're saying that because one of the things we do in our community is we do a group detox twice a year just so that we can continue to deepen our detox strategies. Not to say, hey, twice a year for a week detox, you're cool. No, that's not the case. It's like to get these strategies in place because we need to be doing it every day. But, as I start to go into this every 6 months, people are like, oh, but I eat organic. I'm like, you just mentioned DDT, which I know we still find in like the cord blood of infants. And it's like, wait a minute, where the heck is this coming from? So can you just like hit that one a little bit harder about like where are all these things coming from and how big a problem they are?
Yeah, and I test all of my patients extensively with lab work. And just in the last 24 hours, I've had 3 patients with arsenic toxicity, someone with mercury, and someone with a pretty bad chemical toxicity problem. So this is rampant. Pretty much everyone in the United States has had exposure for their entire lifetime to heavy metals and chemicals. It could be flame retardants from furniture. It could be your dental fillings leaching out mercury. Some of the worst exposure actually comes from air. So you don't, even if you're eating organic and you're trying to juice every day, just the fact that you're outside breathing in the current atmosphere is going to cause a large amount of these chemicals and heavy metals to enter into your system. And I think it's the biggest health problem that we face in integrative medicine because conventional medicine is ignoring it. It's ubiquitous. It's happening to everybody. And because it damages mitochondria, we then end up with this whole cascade. And as you know, everything from metabolic syndrome on down to thyroid problems, right? That's a direct result of these toxins hitting our very sensitive tissues.
Is there a way to tell how much mitochondrial damage you have?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the new breakthrough work I'm doing with Richard Lord now, who's the scientist that
I
developed
love
philosophies.
Richard Lord. I love him.
Yeah.
He's so great. Yeah, because he can explain the most. I would always call him when I was on Freaky Eaters and I was doing a bunch of metametrics testing and using it on Freaky Eaters. I had to explain this to, they always say on TV, talk to the fifth grader. So
Right.
I'd call Dr. Richard Lord and I go, all right. How do I explain this? And he could just rattle out. And to me, that sign of true genius is taking complicated things and be able to explain them to a fifth grader.
Yeah, and he and I work together every Monday now for the last 2.5 years. So we've actually produced a couple books together about this very subject as well. And it's the I mean, this is a little technical, but I'll just mention it briefly. There's a way that you can analyze organic acids tests where you see underactive mitochondrial markers showing up when the energy production of mitochondrial markers are low. So if you see a physician who's been trained by me recently or who works directly with Richard Lord, you can glance at one of these profiles like a Nutraval or an organic acids profile, and boom, it just jumps out at you, and you see what Richard is now calling a hypometabolic state, meaning that there's not enough mitochondria left in that person's body to make these responses. And you just see low levels across the board. And those are the people that are struggling with weight gain, fatigue, no matter how much they exercise or how sparsely they eat, their metabolism is basically shut down and there's not enough mitochondria left. And then we need to rebuild the mitochondria, which of course you know all about. That's getting in the gym, getting on the amino acids and those kinds of things. So you
Yeah,
can
let's go through that. I want to talk about, first of all, how to protect them. But before we go to protect them, let's since you brought it up and everyone's now thinking, I got bad mitochondria. So what what can we do to rebuild those mitochondria?
Yeah, so I've got to think of non-doctor solutions. Like in my world, I would run a lab and fix them for you. But if you're not going to see a doctor and they're not going to do this for you,
And
then
we'll put some in that, because we do a lot of referring out to functional medicine doctors and testing. So
yeah.
we will put that in the show notes. And Dan, as I talked about in the intro, has the Kalish Institute. And so we'll have this in the show notes so you can find doctors training this. But what are some things someone listening right now can go, all right, I'm freaking out. What can I do?
Yeah. So number one is you increase your antioxidants, and that could be with antioxidant supplements, with vegetable juices, with doubling your fruit and vegetable intake, whatever it
Well,
is
shouldn't
you
they
need to
just
do.
drink celery juice? Isn't that the answer, Dan?
Yeah, really.
Are you just getting I was like going, "Could someone stop asking?" Like, every single time I go on social media now, it's a celery juice thing. I'm like, "Jeez,
Oh no.
jeez." I know, it's like it's the medical medium gone wild. Anyway, okay, so increased antioxidants, fruits and all the great color of the rainbow of, fruits and vegetables and great antioxidant supplements.
And
Okay.
then if you are doing excessive cardio, back it off and go into the gym and get more into strength training and yoga and those kinds of things. So you're not running too much oxygen through your lungs and you're not too chronically stressed. And then, as Richard says, there's always three things that you want to do to really fix these mitochondria on a nutritional level. And they are three key nutrients, right? Oxygen, CoQ10, and magnesium. So oxygen comes from breathing, not excessive breathing, but deep, relaxed breathing, right? So if you're a couch potato and you're not getting enough activity, you want to do some meditation exercises or breathing exercises. You need that oxygen to feed the mitochondria.
But not like Wim Hof level.
Yeah, not too much. We're talking about too much is going to whack you out, right? And then
Uh-huh.
magnesium is easy enough to get as a supplement. Just don't take too much of it. You get diarrhea or loose stool. And then
You only
CoQ10.
do that once.
Yeah, those three. Those are the three biggies. Yep.
All right, perfect. Are those the same types of things? Like, I would imagine if you're gonna try to do some lifestyle stuff to help protect your mitochondria, um, some of it would be changing up that exercise routine, and some of it would be eating more deep green leafies and stuff. But um, I'm assuming there's some stuff in there with like really being aware of toxic exposure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're, I guess, you have to meet people where they are, right? So trying to get away from putting, chemicals and sprays on the food that you're eating. So you're trying to be more on the organic food. Air is a big issue, right? So depending on the type of home you're living in, seeing if you can get an air filter so you can keep the exposure to toxicants in your home down to a minimum. And then all the basics for women, especially in terms of avoiding makeup that is full of lead or other kind of chemical compounds. So you don't want to rub that stuff on your skin or use lipstick that's full of something that's potentially toxic. And then you can kind of get into the home care products like the cleaning agents and the deodorants and those kinds of things as well, where you're really kind of leaning towards this sort of greener lifestyle, right? And just not spraying and polluting yourself in a purposeful way that you could avoid. Oh, and then the other thing is the magic bullet, right? Which no one ever wants to do, and it's free, is basically drink enough water that you're flushing out all the water soluble toxins. That's kind of a no-brainer.
Well, I mean, let's talk about water because this is like not only is it great for detox, it's like great for your metabolism. It's like this is like, when you look at a lot of the things that you can do to get healthy, they're free. Sleep, drinking more water, it's like these are not, they're just the things we tend to avoid. So one of the things I always like to get people to do is focus on one thing at a time. So if you take anything away from today, and you will, there's a lot of stuff that's going to here as action steps. My gosh, just starting to drink more water. And how much do you recommend?
Well, most of the time people lose their natural thirst, their natural sense of thirst when they're chronically dehydrated. So most people that are dehydrated
Well,
find
how unfair is
find water
that?
repulsive. I know. And usually that thirst signal is replaced with a hunger
Hunger.
signal, right? Yeah. So I know every morning at 11 when I get hungry, and every afternoon at 4 when I get hungry, I just go out and pound a quart of water, and mysteriously my hunger is gone. Even knowing all this, I still get the hunger signal. Boom, drink the water, the hunger signal is gone. So, the water consumption rates vary depending on the person's overall health, but you want to have a minimum of one completely clear urination a day where the urine looks just like water. If you're not doing that, then you're in serious trouble. And then, the other kind of basic formula is half your body weight in ounces. But for most people, that's too much in that they just won't do it. It's just not practical. So I try to get people to meet people where they are. And most of the people that I'm working with are drinking like a quart at the best or a liter or so at the best. And at least I have them double that.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I find is with anything what you measure, you can improve. So I know I like have to carry something around where I have how much water I'm drinking, otherwise I just forget about it. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. You
another
got to
thing.
keep track of it. You're right. Because people, if
But we
they're,
do need to talk about this because we talked about toxins. Like the last thing you want them to do is grab plastic water bottles and drink water from those, right?
and you do not want to drink tap water that's full of chemicals like chlorine, et cetera. Yeah.
So what should they be doing?
Well, you can buy a really great water filter for $100, $200. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money on a really fancy one. I mean, the fancy ones are nice, but I think you look at it over the course of a year or two, a good triple filter under counter system, you can get fresh water from that. And you only have to change the filters maybe every 6 months or every year, costs you an extra 20, $30. So I think that's the most affordable way to get yourself into the fresh water. And then that in and of itself is going to clear all the water soluble toxins out of your tissue. That's half the battle right there. Now you're just left with the fat soluble ones.
Yeah, and what is your strategy for the fat soluble ones, which are obviously the difficult ones?
Not eating ice cream. I'm sorry. That's my personal weakness. So,
Okay, well, there we go. That's so simple. I thought you were gonna say sauna, and it's like
I'm only half joking that, butter pecan, just don't get in the butter pecan
really?
section of the
They
thing.
do you know what? So Delicious Dairy Free that has 1 gram of sugar has butter pecan,
Is that right?
coconut
Okay.
ice cream.
All
Yep,
right.
there you go. So you can have at that. You're welcome.
All right. No, I do actually, I have an infrared sauna and I do 20 minutes or more every
So
day.
do you eat ice
No?
cream in your infrared sauna?
Never, although that would be an
Okay, that's
ironic
good.
thing. Now that you mentioned it, I'd have to eat it really fast, right? Because it'd be
It'd
melting.
be detox, detox.
um, yeah. So yeah, the sauna thing, the sweating thing, the exercise thing. You know, it's all comes back to these basic fundamental concepts that we know. But I think, like you said, if people can just start with one area that they know they're weak in, and focus on that for a couple months until you master it and you get that level of mastery, then you can go on to the next thing. I think especially, in the new year, everybody's, trying to go on a correct my entire life thing and then, falling
Yeah.
apart. And we really try to do things one at a time, wherever the
Yep.
most gain can come from.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's called the Freedom Journal that has 100-day sprints, and you just do one thing and just that. And then you look at it over time and you realize how big of a shift you make. Because anytime I've tried to do too much, it's always a fail. So everything I do, all the programs, it's like just one thing. That's all you get to do. Nope, we're not adding in the rest of the stuff yet. So if you've been listening to this, because I am just guessing that most people listening to this are probably not getting enough water in. Such a simple, like talk about a simple health hack. just add that in, just to add in water and take out ice cream. That's the big takeaway from the show. There you
Exactly.
have
There's just
it.
5 pounds is gone right there.
Yeah. Wow. That was magic. So I know you've got like this was very superficial, scratch the surface of mitochondria. As you can see, mitochondria is everything. So you're going to want to learn more. And Dan has put together his mitochondria masterclass, a deep dive into all of this that you are getting for free. Thank you so much for that, Dan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, glad to do it.
Yeah, so you can go to jjvirgin.com/mito, MITO. I was going to put the whole thing in, then I thought it's hard to spell. So it's jjvirgin.com/mito. We'll also have information in there on the Kalish Institute, on testing, so that if you want to dive deeper into this, you can. I know back when I saw people one-on-one, I always used organic acid testing because it was just such an easy way to see if something was wrong with people's engines, right?
Exactly. It measures it thoroughly from the top to the bottom. It's really quite remarkable.
Yeah, I actually just did mine recently. I just had a big surgery in December, so I decided it was perfect like 3 weeks after that when everything was completely trashed to go and do it and see how bad it was so I could fix it. So, that's what I am. Now I'm in fix process after that, but, yeah, it's a really good functional way to do that. So we'll include that in there as well. So again, jjvirgin.com/mito. Dan, thank you so much for your time. Super interesting. And you did a great job breaking down the complicated into simple.
Thank you.
All right. Now, after the break, we'll be answering a listener's question. So stay with me. Welcome back. This is the time where we answer a listener's question. Now, if you've been listening to my podcast, you know my favorite thing to do is grab questions from my viewers on my Facebook and Instagram Live. So if you have not popped over there yet and hung out with me, jj.virgin on Instagram with the little blue check mark, and jjvirgin official on Facebook, and just subscribe, become a member of my community, and then you'll know when I go live. And just let me know what you'd like to know more about or what pressing questions you have. This one's from Alicia, who says, all right, I've been running and running and running. What should I be doing for exercise? Now, I will tell you, full disclosure, I used to be a massive aerobics fiend. In fact, I used to teach, anywhere from 3 to 5 aerobics classes a day. I used to run. I remember running for 2 hours at a time. I used to ride my bike, rollerblade, aerobics. I was just an aerobic cardio exercising, endurance exercising fiend. It's what I did all weekend, etc. And then I learned about high intensity interval training. What I learned was that cardiovascular training, endurance training, creates a lot of oxidative stress on the body, which is super aging. You heard about it today from Dr. Dan. And it's super aging, and it also it's super damaging to your mitochondria. And also, it takes a darn long time. Back when I did all of that aerobic cardio exercise all the time, I did not have kids, which changed the game. I was a personal trainer, so I was working out with my clients, and I was in grad school. That was kind of it. So all I did was go to grad school, work out my clients, and work out. That was it. Oh, and ate a little bit and slept. So then, had kids, got married, had kids, started another business, and all of a sudden I didn't have that much time. But at that time too, I also learned about high intensity interval training, and that while what happens when you do a lot of endurance training is you can actually break down muscle, you raise stress hormones, you lower anabolic hormones, and it's aging, and you makes you hungrier. When you do high intensity interval training, you can do it in a quarter of the time. Like if most of the time you're doing cardio for an hour plus, high intensity interval training is 15 to 20 minutes. And we'll put a link in the show notes, jjvirgin.com/mito. We'll put a link in the show notes about some of the different things that you can do, but also I'll show my exerciser training. But basically, it's where you go all out for 30 to 60 seconds. So maybe that's sprinting, running upstairs, doing the exerciser, jumping jacks, and then you recover actively for twice as long to buffer the lactic acid back down. And you repeat that to accumulate 4 to 8 total minutes of bursting. And you're really going all out and hard. I tell people if you can do more than 4 to 8 total minutes of bursting, done in those tranches of 3 to 8 30 to 60 seconds, and then you're not working out hard enough. So you do it in a short amount of time. It raises growth hormone. You have much less oxidative stress. It's not going to impact your immune system like the other stuff does. It raises your anabolic hormones. It teaches your body how to handle stress better, and it's very time efficient and has a better metabolic effect. So amen for all of that. Like, it's all the good. All right, so that's what I want you to flip on over to, Alicia. High intensity interval training. I call it bursting to blast fat. We'll put some resources at jjvirgin.com/mito, MITO, and I will see you next time. Oh, and remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do that and leave a review so I can shout you out. Bye.